My beloved child, listen closely to me right now. This moment is not an accident. You did not find these words by chance, nor did curiosity alone bring you here. I am speaking because your heart has been circling something important, something you have delayed, something you keep telling yourself you will handle tomorrow. But tomorrow has been repeating itself, and the weight of it has been quietly pressing on your spirit. I see the decision you have been postponing. I see the phone call you have not made, the step you have not taken, the boundary you have not set, the dream you have not started. You tell yourself you need more time. You say you are waiting for clarity, for confidence, for the perfect sign. My child, this is your sign. I am telling you now, do not delay. There is a reason your heart feels restless. That gentle discomfort you feel is not punishment. It is not pressure meant to shame you. It is my loving nudge. When I stir your spirit, it is because something is ready to move. I do not rush you out of cruelty. I call you forward because I see what is ahead, and I know that your obedience today unlocks peace tomorrow. You have been asking me for change. You have been praying for breakthrough. You have whispered, "Father, when will things shift?" And I tell you with tenderness and authority, the shift begins when you act. Not next week. Not when everything feels safe. Right now. Delay has a subtle voice. It sounds reasonable. It tells you to wait until you feel stronger, until you are less afraid, until circumstances improve. But delay often disguises fear, and fear has been quietly convincing you that staying still is safer than stepping forward. My beloved, I did not create you to live in hesitation. I created you with courage woven into your spirit. There are moments in your life that carry divine timing. They are windows that open softly, but do not remain open forever. This is one of those moments. I am not speaking to alarm you. I am speaking to awaken you. The opportunity before you is aligned with your growth, your healing, your destiny. Every day you postpone it, the burden grows heavier in your chest. Feel the urgency, but do not mistake it for anxiety. My urgency is filled with peace. It is the steady hand of a father guiding his child across a threshold. I am not pushing you into chaos. I am inviting you into alignment. My beloved child, act right now. Take the first step. Send the message. Begin the plan. Release what needs to be released. Trust what I have already placed inside of you. This is your confirmation. This is your moment. Do not delay. I am with you, and I am already waiting on the other side of your obedience. My beloved child, I know why you have been hesitating. I see beneath the surface of your thoughts. I understand the quiet conversations you have with yourself when no one else is around. You tell yourself you are being careful. You call it wisdom. You call it timing. But deep within, there is something softer, more vulnerable. There is fear. You are not weak because you hesitate. You are human. And I formed you knowing you would wrestle with uncertainty. When you stand at the edge of change, your mind begins to imagine every possible outcome. Some of those images are hopeful, but many are heavy. You ask yourself, what if I fail? What if I am misunderstood? What if I lose more than I gain? These questions feel loud, and they slow your steps. But listen to me gently, my child. The root of your hesitation is not laziness. It is not rebellion. It is self-protection. Somewhere along your journey, you stepped forward before and felt pain. You trusted and were disappointed. You tried and were criticized. You hoped and were let down. So now, when I whisper for you to move, part of you tightens. Part of you braces for impact. I do not shame you for this. I hold that part of you with compassion. I remember every tear you cried when things did not unfold the way you expected. I was there when you questioned your worth because something did not succeed. I was there when someone's words made you doubt your ability. And because I was there, I know exactly why you hesitate now. There is also the weight of responsibility. You do not only think about yourself. You think about the people around you. You wonder how your decision will affect them. You feel the pressure to get it right, to avoid mistakes, to ensure stability. You carry more on your shoulders than you admit. And sometimes, delaying feels safer than risking destruction. But my beloved child, hesitation can become a quiet prison. The longer you stay in it, the more normal it feels. You begin to convince yourself that waiting is maturity. Yet inside, your spirit feels restless. That restlessness is not confusion. It is the tension between where you are and where I am leading you. Let me tell you a simple story. There was once a traveler standing before a narrow bridge over calm water. The bridge was strong, carefully built, and led to a place of abundance. But the traveler remembered a time when a different bridge had collapsed beneath him. So even though this bridge was secure, he stared at it, imagining it breaking. He waited for a guarantee that it would never shake. Days passed. The bridge remained steady. The destination remained beautiful. Yet the traveler stayed where he was, not because the path was unsafe, but because his memory was louder than his present reality. My child, you are the traveler. And I am telling you, this bridge is not the one that broke you before. You have grown since then. You have learned. You have healed more than you realize. The version of you who was hurt is not the same version of you who stands here now. I have been shaping you quietly. Strength has been forming beneath your tenderness. Wisdom has been deepening beneath your questions. Sometimes you hesitate because you want absolute clarity. You want me to reveal every step, every detail, every outcome. But faith is not built on full visibility. It is built on relationship. And you know my voice. It is calm. It is steady. It does not rush you in panic, but it does not leave you in stagnation either. Hear me clearly. Your hesitation is understandable, but it is no longer necessary. I am not asking you to leap blindly. I am asking you to trust that I am still the same Father who carried you through every previous storm. I did not abandon you then, and I will not abandon you now. The pain of your past does not get to dictate the promise of your future. Release the grip of old fears. They served you for a season, but they are not meant to lead you forever. I am leading you now. My beloved child, your hesitation has been a shield. But today, you do not need to hide behind it. I am your safety. I am your assurance. And when you move at my prompting, you are not stepping into danger. You are stepping into growth. Take a breath. Feel my peace. And know that the courage you seek is already rising within you. My beloved child, there is something I must gently show you. Delay does not only pause progress, it quietly shapes your days. When you wait too long to act on what I have placed in your heart, it begins to cost you something. Not always in dramatic ways, but in subtle ones. It steals your peace in small portions. It drains your confidence little by little. It makes tomorrow feel heavier than today. You may believe that by waiting, you are avoiding risk. But waiting without direction can become its own kind of risk. It creates a space where doubt grows stronger. The longer you postpone a step, the more intimidating it appears. What was once a simple act begins to feel monumental. What was once clear begins to feel confusing. Delay magnifies fear. Let me tell you a story. There was once a gardener who was given a rare and precious seed. He was told that this seed would grow into a tree that would provide shade, fruit, and beauty for many years. The gardener held the seed carefully in his hand. He studied it. He imagined the tree. He felt excited, but he also felt uncertain. What if the soil was not perfect? What if the weather turned harsh? What if he planted it too soon? So he waited. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The season for planting slowly passed. The soil grew colder. The light shifted. And the seed, though still full of potential, remained unused in his pocket. He had protected it from risk, but he had also prevented it from growing. My beloved child, you carry seeds inside of you right now. Seeds of change. Seeds of healing. Seeds of purpose. And every time you delay what I am asking you to do, you are not preserving the seed. You are postponing the harvest. There are opportunities that are tied to timing. Not because I am cruel or impatient, but because life moves in seasons. There is a season to prepare, and there is a season to act. When the season to act arrives, hesitation can cause you to miss the fullness of what was available. I do not speak this to frighten you. I speak it to awaken you. When you delay a necessary conversation, resentment can quietly grow. When you delay pursuing a calling, dissatisfaction can settle in your spirit. When you delay releasing something unhealthy, it continues to weigh on your heart. Over time, the cost of waiting becomes heavier than the discomfort of acting. You were not created to live in constant postponement. You were created to move with me, to flow with my timing. When you ignore my gentle nudges, your spirit feels unsettled. Not because I withdraw from you, but because you are resisting alignment. And resistance always feels heavy. Sometimes you think you are buying time, but in truth, you may be losing momentum. Momentum is a gift. When I stir you to act, there is grace in that moment. There is clarity. There is strength available specifically for that step. When you delay, you often find yourself trying to recreate that strength later, wondering why it feels harder. I am not telling you that every opportunity will vanish forever if you hesitate once. I am patient. I am merciful. But I want you to understand that obedience carries freshness. It carries a lightness that delay cannot give you. Imagine how different the gardener's life would have been if he had planted the seed when the soil was ready. Imagine the shade he could have rested under, the fruit he could have shared, the beauty that could have filled his space. By waiting too long, he did not lose the seed, but he lost the season. My beloved child, I do not want you to lose your season. There is something before you now that is aligned with growth. It may feel uncomfortable. It may stretch you, but it is fertile ground. If you continue to postpone, you may find yourself later wishing you had trusted me sooner. The cost of waiting is rarely obvious at first. It reveals itself slowly, through regret, through restlessness, through the quiet question, what if I had acted? I do not want you to live with that question. Act while your heart is still tender. Act while the door is still open. Act while my peace is still prompting you forward. The step you take today will protect you from the weight of tomorrow's regret. I am guiding you not only toward opportunity, but away from unnecessary loss. Trust me in this. My beloved child, the stirring you feel within you is not random. It is not anxiety. It is not impatience. It is me. I am the one who gently disturbs your comfort when comfort has begun to confine you. I am the one who places a holy restlessness in your heart when it is time to rise. You have felt it, haven't you? That quiet pull, that whisper that says there is more. Even when everything around you seems stable, there is something inside that will not settle. You try to distract yourself. You scroll. You busy your hands. You tell yourself that you should be grateful for what you have and stop wanting change. But the stirring remains. My child, I do not stir you to torment you. I stir you because I am preparing you. When a seed is buried in the soil, something begins to happen beneath the surface. It pushes. It stretches. It breaks open. If the seed could speak, it might call that breaking discomfort. It might call it pressure. But without that internal stirring, it would never rise above the ground. You are in a season of internal movement. Even if your outer world looks the same, your inner world is shifting. The desires you once tolerated no longer satisfy you. The patterns you once accepted now feel heavy. The dreams you buried are resurfacing. This is not coincidence. It is transformation. I see how you question yourself. You wonder if you are being ungrateful. You ask if this longing means you are restless in a wrong way. But listen carefully. There is a difference between reckless impatience and divine prompting. Reckless impatience is loud and chaotic. My prompting is steady and persistent. It does not scream at you, but it does not disappear either. That steady nudges me. Sometimes I stir you because what once fit you no longer does. You have grown. You have matured. And what was once safe has now become limiting. Staying where you are may feel secure, but your spirit knows it is too small for the person you are becoming. I am not rushing you out of your life. I am guiding you into your next chapter. When I stir your spirit, it is an invitation to trust that I am doing something new, an invitation to believe that you are not stuck, even if circumstances look unchanged. The stirring is proof that movement is possible. You have been asking me for clarity, and I have given you a stirring. You have been asking me for direction, and I have given you a desire that will not leave you alone. You have been asking me for purpose, and I have given you dissatisfaction with what no longer aligns. Do not ignore this. If I wanted you to remain exactly where you are, your heart would feel settled there. But instead, you feel a gentle discomfort. Not panic, not dread, just the awareness that something needs to shift. I am awakening you. Think of a father waking his child early for a journey. The child may want to stay under the covers. The bed is warm. The room is familiar. But the father knows that a beautiful destination awaits. He shakes his child's shoulder softly, not to disturb him cruelly, but to bring him into something better. My beloved child, I'm shaking your shoulder. The stirring you feel is preparation for action. It is the bridge between knowing and doing. It is my way of aligning your heart before I move your feet. I do not push you forward without first adjusting you inwardly. You may feel uncertain about what exactly to do, but you are certain that something must change. That certainty is sacred. It is the beginning of obedience. Do not silence the stirring with excuses. Do not drown it out with comfort. Sit with it. Pray through it. Let it grow clear. And when you sense the step I am showing you, take it. I am not confusing you. I am guiding you. I am not unsettling you to harm you. I am awakening you to growth. Trust the stirring. It carries my fingerprint. My beloved child, let us speak honestly about the voice that has tried to lead you for so long. Fear. It has whispered to you in quiet moments. It has painted pictures in your mind of what could go wrong. It has wrapped itself around your decisions and made hesitation feel wise. But hear me clearly now. Fear is not your master. Fear may speak loudly, but it does not have authority over you. I do. You have mistaken fear for discernment at times. You have thought that because something feels intimidating, it must not be right. But growth often feels unfamiliar. A new territory always feels uncertain before it feels natural. Fear thrives in that unfamiliar space. It tells you that because you have not walked this way before, you should turn back. But when I call you forward, I do not consult fear. I call you because I see what you cannot see. I see the strength inside you that has not yet been tested. I see the doors that will open once you take one brave step. I see the version of you that exists on the other side of obedience. Fear wants to keep you small because small feels manageable. Small feels controllable. If you do not try, you cannot fail. If you do not speak, you cannot be rejected. If you do not step out, you cannot stumble. But my child, if you do not move, you also cannot grow. There was a time when you faced something that frightened you deeply. Your heart raced. Your thoughts spiraled. You doubted your ability to endure it. And yet, you survived. More than that, you were shaped by it. You became wiser, stronger, more compassionate. That situation did not destroy you the way you feared it would. Remember that. Fear told you then that you would not make it through. But you did. And I was with you every step. Fear is a voice, but it is not prophecy. It predicts disaster without knowing the future. It exaggerates risk and minimizes resilience. It speaks in absolutes. You will fail. You will regret this. You are not ready. But those statements are not truth. They are projections. I am truth. And I tell you this. You are capable of more than fear allows you to believe. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Courage means choosing to act even when fear is present. You do not have to wait until you feel completely confident. You do not have to silence every anxious thought before you move. You only have to trust me more than you trust fear. When a child learns to walk, there is always a moment when he lets go of what he is holding. He wobbles. He may even fall. But he does not stop trying because falling is part of learning balance. Imagine if the child decided after one stumble that walking was too risky. He would remain crawling, not because he was incapable, but because he allowed fear of falling to define him. My beloved child, you are not meant to crawl through life. I did not design you to live beneath the weight of constant caution. I designed you with spirit, with boldness, with the ability to rise. Fear may attempt to sit on your shoulders, but it does not belong there. Hick it off. It does not own you. When fear speaks, bring it to me. Do not wrestle it alone. Say, Father, this is what I am afraid of. And then listen as I remind you who you are. You are not fragile beyond repair. You are not alone in your decisions. You are not walking into the unknown without my presence. I go before you. I walk beside you. I stand behind you. Fear cannot overrule my protection. It cannot cancel my calling on your life. It cannot close doors that I have opened for you. You may feel afraid, but you are not powerless. Right now, I am inviting you to dethrone fear. Let it sit in the corner, but do not let it drive. Let me lead. Let my voice be louder. Let my promises be stronger than your worries. My beloved child, fear is not your master. I am your father, and where I guide you, I sustain you. My beloved child, there are moments in your life that carry a special kind of grace. They are not louder than other moments. They do not always announce themselves with signs and wonders, but they are marked by alignment. They are marked by readiness. They are marked by a quiet opening in front of you. This is what I call a window of opportunity. A window does not remain open forever. Do not misunderstand me. I am patient. I am not harsh with timing. But life moves in seasons and seasons shift. There is a time to prepare, and there is a time to act. When preparation has done its work, action must follow. If you continue to prepare beyond the appointed time, preparation becomes delay. You have been in preparation longer than you realize. Think of a door standing slightly open. Light streams through it. You can see enough to know that something waits beyond. The air that comes through feels fresh, inviting. Yet you stand at a distance, analyzing the hinges, studying the frame, wondering if the light is real. Meanwhile, the door remains open, but not indefinitely. I open doors in your life with intention. I align circumstances. I connect you with the right conversations. I stir your heart at the same time that opportunity appears. These are not coincidences. They are orchestrated moments. Right now, something in your life feels possible in a way it did not before. A conversation seems ready. An idea feels ripe. A path appears clear. This is not random. This is the window. The enemy of opportunity is not always opposition. Sometimes it is hesitation. You wait for a louder sign, a bigger confirmation, a guarantee of outcome. But the very presence of this opening is your confirmation. Let me tell you something important. When I open a door, I also supply grace for that specific moment. There is a strength available now that may not feel as strong if you wait too long. There is clarity now that may become clouded if you overthink it. There is courage rising in you now that could quiet down if you suppress it. Windows of opportunity are gentle invitations. They do not force you through. They require response. Imagine a farmer who waits for the exact perfect day to harvest his crops. He tells himself the weather could be slightly better tomorrow. The light might be stronger next week. The air might be less humid another day. While he waits for flawless conditions, the crops begin to over-ripen. What was once ideal becomes wasted, not because it lacked potential, but because it was not gathered in time. My beloved child, I do not want you to stand in front of ripe blessings and watch them fade because you delayed your response. There is wisdom in patience, but there is also wisdom in movement. Knowing the difference requires trust in my voice. And I am telling you now, this is not a season to retreat. It is a season to step forward. The window before you may not look dramatic. It may look simple. A single step. A small decision. A message sent. A boundary set. A plan started. Do not underestimate small openings. Large transformations often begin with small obediences. You may worry that if you move too quickly, you will make a mistake. But hear me clearly. Obedience in faith is never a mistake. Even if the path adjusts, I will redirect you. I can steer a moving heart far more easily than a stagnant one. The window's opened, my child. Feel the air shifting. Feel the light touching your face. Feel the quiet urgency in your spirit. This is your moment of alignment. Not because you are perfectly ready, but because you are ready enough. Do not let comfort anchor you to a place you have outgrown. Do not let fear convince you that staying still is safer than stepping into expansion. I would not open a door for you if I did not intend to walk you through it. Step closer. Reach out. Move. The window is open now. My beloved child, You have been looking at the step before you as if it must be enormous to matter. You have imagined that obedience requires a dramatic leap, a grand gesture, a life-altering announcement. But I tell you this with tenderness. The breakthrough you seek is often hidden inside one small act of obedience. You do not have to move mountains in a single day. You only have to take one faithful step. Sometimes you delay because you are overwhelmed by the size of what you think I am asking of you. You see the whole staircase and feel exhausted before you lift your foot. But I am not asking you to climb the entire staircase today. I am asking you to step onto the first stair. There is power in small beginnings. Consider a tiny spark in a dark room. It does not look impressive at first. It is small, always fragile, but that spark has the potential to light a candle. The candle can light a lamp. The lamp can brighten an entire room, and that light can guide someone safely through the night. All of it begins with something small. Obedience works the same way. When you respond to my prompting in even the smallest way, you create movement. Movement invites momentum. Momentum invites clarity. And clarity invites confidence. But none of it begins without the first small yes. Let me tell you a simple story. There was once a woman who longed to change her life. She felt stuck and prayed for a breakthrough. She waited for a miracle, something dramatic that would transform everything overnight. But the only thing placed on her heart was to wake up a little earlier and spend quiet time reflecting and planning. It seemed insignificant, too simple. He almost ignored it, but she obeyed. Day after day she rose early. In that quiet space, her thoughts became clear. Her fears softened. New ideas formed. Over time, those early mornings led to new habits. Those habits led to new opportunities. And eventually, her life looked entirely different. The breakthrough did not arrive as a thunderclap. It arrived as a small, consistent act of obedience. My beloved child, do not despise small instructions. When I ask you to send a message, to organize a plan, to forgive someone quietly in your heart, to research an idea, to take care of your health, to set a simple boundary, these may seem minor, but each small act aligns you more closely with your purpose. You often think breakthrough must feel explosive, but many of my greatest works in your life will feel steady, not sensational. A seed does not break the soil with noise. It rises quietly, yet its growth changes everything around it. Small obedience also builds trust. Every time you respond to me, even in minor ways, you strengthen your spiritual muscles. You begin to recognize my voice more clearly. You learn that I am faithful in the details. And as your trust grows, larger steps no longer feel as intimidating. If I showed you the full picture of where I am leading you, you might feel overwhelmed. So I give you the next small instruction. Not to limit you, but to guide you gently. Do not wait for perfect confidence. Confidence grows through action. Take one step, and you will see that you survive it. Take another, and you will feel strength rising. Before you realize it, you will look back and see that what once felt impossible has become your reality. My beloved child, the breakthrough is not hiding in some distant future. It is attached to the step you are avoiding today. Send the message. Make the call. Write the first page. Begin the conversation. Clear the space. Speak the truth. Pray the honest prayer. It may look small in your eyes, but in my hands, small obedience becomes the doorway to great transformation. Trust me in this. Take the step that is in front of you. I will meet you there, and from that single act, I will unfold more than you can imagine. My beloved child, one of the quiet traps that has kept you still is the belief that conditions must be perfect before you begin. You have told yourself that you will move when you feel completely ready, when your finances look stronger, when your schedule is clearer, when your emotions are steadier, when the timing feels flawless. But perfection is a moving target. If you wait for everything to align without discomfort, you may wait forever. Life on this earth rarely offers ideal circumstances. There will almost always be something unfinished, something uncertain, something that feels slightly out of place. If you make perfection your requirement, you will unintentionally make delay your lifestyle. You think readiness is the absence of fear, doubt, or limitation. But readiness is not the absence of those things. Readiness is the willingness to move forward despite them. Imagine a sailor standing at the shore, waiting for the ocean to become completely still before setting out. He studies the waves. He watches the wind. He tells himself he will lunch when the sea is perfectly calm. But the ocean was not designed to remain motionless. There will always be currents. There will always be shifts in the breeze. If he refuses to sail until conditions are flawless, you will never leave the shore. My beloved child, you were not meant to live your entire life standing at the shore. You have been analyzing your circumstances, trying to calculate the safest possible moment. But faith does not operate on flawless conditions. It operates on trust. And trust grows when you move in obedience, not when you sit in endless preparation. I am not asking you to be reckless. I am not calling you to ignore wisdom. But there is a difference between wise preparation and fear disguised as perfectionism. Wise preparation has a finish line. Fear-driven perfectionism does not. It keeps adding new requirements, new conditions, new reasons to wait. You tell yourself, when I feel more confident, I will act. But confidence is built through action. You say, when I have more clarity, I will move. But clarity often comes while you are already walking. You think, when I am less busy, I will begin. Yet life will always demand your attention in some way. If you wait for a moment when nothing feels uncertain, you will miss the beauty of growth that happens in imperfect beginnings. Think of a farmer planting seeds. He does not wait for a guarantee that there will be no storms. He knows that rain may come heavily. He knows that the sun may be intense. He plants anyway because he understands that growth happens through changing conditions, not in their absence. You have been overestimating the power of circumstances and underestimating the power I have placed inside you. The truth is, you are more adaptable than you believe. You are more resilient than you realize. You have endured seasons that were far more difficult than this moment. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still seeking my guidance. That alone is evidence of strength. Stop telling yourself that everything must feel aligned before you take a step. Sometimes alignment follows obedience. When you move, I move with you. When you trust, I provide. When you begin, I strengthen. Your breakthrough is not waiting for perfect weather. It is waiting for your decision. Yes, there may be challenges. Yes, there may be adjustments along the way. But those are not signs that you started at the wrong time. They are part of the journey itself. My beloved child, if I waited for you to be perfect before loving you, you would never know my love. In the same way, you must stop waiting for perfection before stepping into what I have placed before you. Begin where you are. Begin with what you have. Begin with the strength available to you today. The conditions may not be flawless, but my presence is steady, and that is more than enough. My beloved child, before you take another step, I need you to release something heavy from your heart. The time you have already spent delaying does not disqualify you. The hesitation, the overthinking, the missed chances you replay in your mind, they do not cancel your purpose. You look back and think, if only I had acted sooner. If only I had trusted faster. If only I had not wasted so much time. Regret tries to wrap itself around your progress. It whispers that you are behind, that you missed your moment, that others have moved ahead while you stood still. But I do not measure your life the way you do. I am not bound by your timeline. What feels late to you is not late to me. What feels wasted can still be woven into wisdom. Even your delay has taught you something. It has shown you the weight of hesitation. It has revealed the cost of fear. It has made you more aware of the importance of obedience. Nothing you have walked through is meaningless. Do not let shame attach itself to your delay. Shame says, you should have known better. Shame says you have failed too many times. Shame says, it is too late for you now. But I do not speak to you in shame. I speak in invitation. There was once a runner who stumbled near the beginning of a race. He scraped his knees and felt embarrassed. Other runners passed him. For a moment, he considered leaving the track altogether. He thought, I have already fallen. I have already lost ground. But the race was not over. The finish line was still ahead. The only way he could truly lose was by refusing to stand up again. My beloved child, you may have stumbled in your timing, but the race is not over. You are not disqualified because you hesitated. You are not removed from my plan because you were afraid. If that were the case, no one would ever fulfill their calling. Growth is rarely instant. Obedience is often learned step by step. Sometimes the delay itself deepens your readiness. You now understand more clearly what is at stake. You feel more strongly the importance of movement. You are more aware of the patterns that have held you back. That awareness is not failure. It is preparation. Do not confuse delay with destiny. Your destiny is not defined by the moments you waited. It is defined by the moments you choose to respond. And today, you still have the power to respond. I have not withdrawn from you. I have not grown impatient with you. I have not closed every door because you paused too long at one of them. I am a father who restores. I am a guide who redirects. I am a redeemer of time. You may feel as though you are behind others, but comparison is not your compass. Your journey is unique. Your pacing has been shaped by experiences no one else has carried. I have walked with you through every season, even the ones you call wasted. If there were lessons you needed, you learned them. If there was healing required, it has begun. If there was maturity that needed to form, it has grown quietly inside you. Now is not the moment to condemn yourself. It is the moment to rise. Release the narrative that says, I ruined it. Release the belief that says, I missed my chance forever. Those thoughts are not from me. Hear my voice instead. It is not too late. As long as you are breathing, there is still movement available to you. As long as your heart can respond to my prompting, there is still purpose unfolding. The fact that you are listening right now is evidence that I am still calling you forward. Your delay does not disqualify you. It simply means that today carries even greater significance. You have felt the weight of waiting. Now you can feel the freedom of action. Stand up from regret. Step out of self-judgment. You are not stuck in your past. You are standing at the edge of a new decision. And I am still inviting you to move. My beloved child, I know you have been asking me for confirmation. You have whispered, Father, if this is truly you, show me clearly. Make it undeniable. Send me a sign I cannot ignore. And now you are here, listening to these words, feeling something stir inside your chest. That stirring is not coincidence. It is your confirmation. I am not the author of confusion. When I speak, there is a quiet clarity that settles over your spirit. Even if your mind still has questions, your heart recognizes my voice. It feels steady. It feels firm. It feels like truth wrapped in peace. That is what you are sensing right now. You have asked whether it is time to act. I'm answering you. Yes, my child. It is time. You have wondered if you are imagining this call to move. You are not. I have been gently aligning your thoughts, your circumstances, your desires. I have been preparing you inwardly so that when this moment came, you would know. Not because everything feels easy, but because everything feels ready. This message is not meant for everyone in the same way. It is meant for you in this specific hour. I know what you are facing. I know the decision that has been lingering in your heart. I know the opportunity that feels both exciting and intimidating. I know the conversation you keep rehearsing in your mind. I know the plan you keep revising but have not yet started. You do not need another sign. You do not need another week of analysis. You do not need to poll every voice around you. You need to trust what I am speaking now. My beloved child, I am confirming what you already sensed. The stirring was real. The window is open. The fear is not your master. The delay has run its course. This is the moment to respond. Act with wisdom, yes, but act. Send the message. Make the decision. Take the first tangible step. Stop circling the same mountain of indecision. The peace you are searching for is on the other side of obedience. You may still feel nervous. That is natural. But beneath the nervousness, there is a steady current of knowing. That knowing is me. I am not shouting at you. I am standing beside you, placing my hand gently on your shoulder, and saying, "Now, my child, move." Let this be the moment you look back on and say, "That was the day I stopped waiting. That was the day I trusted." Years from now, you will see how this small act of obedience shifted the direction of your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. Do not underestimate the power of responding when I speak. And as you respond to my voice, I also call you into something greater. This message you are receiving is not meant to stop with you. There are other hearts carrying the same hesitation, the same fear, the same quiet prayer for confirmation. When you help this message reach them, you become part of their breakthrough. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link placed in the description and even in the QR code before you, you are not giving to a platform. You are planting seeds in souls. I declare over you that, as my word says, the one who sows generously will also reap generously, and I breathe that promise personally over your life. When you feel the nudge to support, that is me inviting you to partner in spreading light where darkness tries to linger. Do not ignore that holy prompting. Act on it boldly, knowing that every gift becomes oil in the lamp of another weary heart. As you give, I release blessing, provision, and fresh courage over your household. Step into this moment with faith. Sow now and watch what I will multiply. My beloved child, this is your confirmation. Now respond. My beloved child, as you stand on the edge of this decision, I want you to understand something deeply. You are not walking into the unknown alone. I go before you. Before you ever considered this step, I had already stepped into your tomorrow. Before you wrestled with the details, I had already seen the outcome. Nothing about your future surprises me. Nothing about your obedience catches me unprepared. I am already present in the place you are afraid to enter. You often imagine the future as a dark room. You picture yourself walking in, unsure of what you will find. You worry about obstacles you cannot see, reactions you cannot predict, consequences you cannot control. But what you do not see is that I am already in that room, turning on the lights one by one. When I call you forward, I do not send you ahead to fend for yourself. I prepare the ground beneath your feet. I soften hearts that need softening. I arrange conversations. I align timing. Even when circumstances look ordinary, my hand is at work in ways you cannot detect. There have been moments in your past when something worked out better than you expected. A door opened unexpectedly. A conflict resolved more peacefully than you feared. An opportunity appeared just when you needed it. You called it relief. You called it luck. But it was me going before you. Trust that I am doing it again. I know one of your deepest fears is not just failure, but abandonment. You are afraid that if you take this step and things become difficult, you will be left to manage it alone. Hear me clearly. I do not abandon my children in the middle of obedience. Even if challenges arise, my presence does not withdraw. If a conversation becomes uncomfortable, I am there. If the path requires adjustment, I am there. If you feel uncertain halfway through, I am there. My commitment to you does not depend on flawless execution. It rests on my love. Imagine a father teaching his child to ride a bicycle. The child feels nervous. The road looks long. He worries about falling. But the father runs beside him, steadying the seat, ready to catch him if he wobbles. The child may not always see the father's hand, but it is there, close and attentive. That is how I walk with you. You may not feel me in dramatic ways. There may not be lightning in the sky or thunder in your ears. Often, my presence is quiet. It is the calm that steadies your breathing. It is the thought that reassures you in the middle of doubt. It is the strength that rises just when you think you cannot continue. I go before you in preparation, and I walk beside you in participation. You are not stepping into a trap. You are stepping into a path I have already examined. I know where it bends. I know where it narrows. I know where it widens into blessing. And because I know, I can guide you safely through it. Do not measure your courage by how fearless you feel. Measure it by your willingness to trust that I am already ahead of you. When you act now, you are not gambling with your future. You are cooperating with a plan that has been unfolding quietly for longer than you realize. Every experience you have had up to this point has been shaping you for this moment. And every step you take from here will be supported by my guidance. If you stumble, I will lift you. If you question, I will remind you. If you grow tired, I will strengthen you. My beloved child, the road in front of you is not empty. It is prepared. Take the step knowing this. I am already there, waiting to meet you in your obedience. My beloved child, there is something subtle that has been influencing your decisions, and it is time to name it clearly. Procrastination has felt like a companion, but it has been quietly stealing from you. It has disguised itself as comfort, as caution, as timing. But in truth, it has been an agreement you did not realize you were making. Every time you say, "I will do it later," without a clear and wise reason, you strengthen that agreement. Every time you silence the nudge I place on your heart and replace it with distraction, you reinforce a pattern. And patterns, if left unchecked, become cycles. I do not speak this to condemn you. I speak it to free you. Procrastination often feels harmless. It whispers, there is still time. It tells you that postponing does not really change anything. But over time, it chips away at your confidence. You begin to doubt your own follow-through. You promise yourself action and then quietly disappoint yourself. A disappointment adds weight to your spirit. You were not created to live in broken promises to yourself. Procrastination is not just about tasks. It touches dreams. It touches healing. It touches difficult conversations and necessary boundaries. It convinces you that avoiding discomfort today will somehow make tomorrow easier. But avoidance rarely makes anything lighter. It simply shifts the burden forward. Imagine carrying a small stone in your pocket. It does not feel heavy at first. You can ignore it. But if you keep adding stones each day, refusing to set them down, eventually your pockets sag under the weight. Procrastination works the same way. Each delay adds another stone. Each avoided step increases the pressure. My beloved child, today is the day to break that agreement. You do not break it by shaming yourself. You break it by choosing differently. You break it by saying, no more later without intention. You break it by responding when I prompt you instead of negotiating with fear. There is power in a decisive moment. When you declare within yourself, I will no longer postpone what I know I must do, something shifts. The chains that felt invisible begin to loosen. You reclaim authority over your time, your focus, your obedience. Procrastination has made you feel smaller than you are. It has made you question your discipline. But discipline is not something you either have or do not have. It is something you build through repeated joys. Start with one choice. Do not attempt to overhaul your entire life in a single day. That will only overwhelm you and feed the cycle again. Instead, identify the one step you have been avoiding most. The call, the email, the application, the apology, the plan, and take action on that one thing. As soon as you move, you will feel something lift. The stone in your pocket will drop to the ground. You will remember what it feels like to follow through. That feeling will strengthen you for the next step. You are not powerless against procrastination. You simply need to stop agreeing with it. When the thought comes, I will do it later, pause. Ask yourself honestly, why not now? If there is wisdom in waiting, then wait with intention. But if the only reason is discomfort, then move despite it. I am giving you strength in this very moment. Not strength for tomorrow. Strength for now. My beloved child, your time is a gift. Do not let it slip quietly through endless postponement. Do not let fear disguise itself as patience any longer. Break the agreement. Speak it in your heart. I choose action. I choose obedience. I choose movement. And as you choose, I will meet you with momentum. My beloved child, you have a thoughtful mind. I designed you that way. You analyze. You weigh outcomes. You consider consequences. These are gifts. But there comes a moment when logic reaches its limit, and trust must carry you further. You have been trying to reason your way into certainty. You have been mapping every possible scenario, hoping that if you think long enough, you will eliminate all risk. But life with me has never been built on complete calculation. It has always been built on relationship. Logic asks, what if this fails? Trust asks, what if God is faithful? Logic says, show me the full path, then I will walk. Trust says, I will walk, believing the path will unfold. There are steps in your life that will never make perfect sense on paper. If you wait until everything aligns neatly in your mind, you will remain stuck in analysis. Overthinking can feel productive, but sometimes it is simply another form of delay. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom. I am asking you to place wisdom beneath trust, not above it. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man standing before a river. The bridge that usually carried him across had been removed. In its place were stepping stones scattered across the water. The stones did not form a straight line. Some were partially submerged. Some looked smaller than he preferred. From where he stood, he could not see the entire crossing clearly. He tried to calculate the distance between each stone. He estimated the depth of the water. He'd imagined slipping and falling. The more he analyzed, the more uncertain he felt. Yet the only way to know whether the stones would hold him was to step onto the first one. My beloved child, sometimes the only proof comes through movement. When I call you to act, I am not inviting you into recklessness. I am inviting you into partnership. I see the stepping stones even when you do not. I know which ones are secure. I know how to steady you if you wobble. You want guarantees. You want outcomes in advance. But guarantees are not the foundation of faith. Faith is built on who I am, not on how detailed the plan appears. Have I not carried you before? Have I not sustained you through seasons you once thought you would not survive? Did I not provide insight when you felt confused, comfort when you felt broken, direction when you felt lost? Why, then, do you believe that this next step is beyond my ability to manage? Your mind will always present you with reasons to hesitate. It will highlight the unknown. It will magnify the possibility of error. But trust looks at my character and says, even if I do not see everything, I know the one who does. Trust is not blind. It is anchored. You may not see the full outcome of your obedience, but I do. You may not know every twist and turn, but I am already present in them. When you lean into trust, you shift your focus from the risk of failure to the certainty of my presence. You do not have to silence every logical concern. Simply place them in my hands. Say, Father, this is what worries me. And then listen as I remind you that your life is not resting solely on your ability to calculate correctly. You were not created to control every variable. You were created to walk with me. There will be moments when logic pauses and faith must step forward. This is one of those moments. Take the first stone. Let your foot feel its steadiness. You will discover that what looked unstable from a distance is firm beneath your weight. My beloved child, choose trust over endless analysis. Choose relationship over rigid reasoning. I am not asking you to understand everything. I am asking you to believe that I do. Step forward, even if the full picture remains unseen. I will guide you across. My beloved child, one of the greatest illusions holding you back is the belief that you are not ready. You look at the step before you and think, I need more time. I need more growth. I need more certainty. But what you fail to see is how much preparation has already taken place within you. You have been growing quietly. The challenges you endured were not random. The disappointments you survived were not pointless. Lessons you learned through tears, through patience, through waiting, each one has been shaping you. You may not have noticed it while it was happening, but strength was forming in hidden places. Readiness does not always feel dramatic. You often feel subtle. It is not the absence of nerves. It is the presence of capacity. You measure readiness by confidence. I measure it by formation. Think of a tree in winter. Its branches look bare. Its growth seems paused. But beneath the surface, the roots are deepening. Nutrients are being stored. Stability is being built. When spring arrives, The tree does not panic. It does not question whether it is ready to bloom. It blooms because preparation has already occurred beneath the soil. My beloved child, your roots are deeper than you realize. You have walked through situations that forced you to become wiser. You have faced fears that once felt overwhelming and discovered that you could endure. You have learned to pray differently. You reflect differently. To respond differently. That is growth. Yet you compare yourself to an imagined standard. You look at others and think they are more equipped, more qualified, more prepared. But you are not called to their path. You are called to yours. And for your path, you are ready enough. Perfection is not the requirement. Willingness is. Sometimes you believe that readiness means having no more doubts. But doubts do not erase preparedness. Even those who step into great callings feel uncertainty. What sets them apart is not flawless confidence, but the decision to move forward despite it. Let me remind you of something important. I would not be prompting you if you were unprepared. I do not push my children into seasons they cannot sustain. I train them first. I stretch them first. I mature them first. The very fact that you are sensing the call to act is evidence that you have already been shaped for it. You may not know everything you will need to know for the entire journey, but you know enough for the next step. And that is all that is required right now. There was once a student who spent years studying, practicing, preparing for a moment of opportunity. When that opportunity finally appeared, he felt nervous. He questioned whether he had learned enough. He considered stepping back. But what he did not see was that every long night of effort, every correction, every small improvement had been leading to that very door. If he had waited for a feeling of absolute certainty, you would have missed the chance he had trained for. My beloved child, you have been training in ways you did not recognize. Every time you chose integrity over compromise, you strengthened your character. Every time you recovered from disappointment, you strengthened your resilience. Every time you sought my guidance instead of reacting impulsively, you strengthened your discernment. These are not small things. They are the building blocks of readiness. Stop telling yourself you are unprepared. Stop shrinking back because you cannot see the full version of who you are becoming. Growth often feels incomplete from the inside. But from my perspective, you are equipped for what is next. You do not need another year of preparation. You do not need another sign of approval. You need to trust that the work already done within you is sufficient for this moment. My beloved child, you are ready more than you think. Step forward not because you feel flawless, but because you have been formed. And as you move, I will continue shaping you along the way. My beloved child, you have been praying for blessing. You have been asking me to move, to open doors, to bring clarity, to shift circumstances. But I have heard every word. But there is something you must understand clearly. The blessing you are seeking is often attached to the step you are avoiding. Blessing is not always dropped into your hands while you remain still. Often, it meets you in motion. There is a connection between obedience and overflow. When you move at my prompting, you align yourself with the flow of my provision. It is like stepping into a river. If you stand on the bank, you can see the water. You can admire it. You can even long for it. But you do not feel its current until you step in. Right now, you are standing on the edge of something that carries blessing. You are asking me to bring the river closer, but I am inviting you to step forward. Do not misunderstand me. I am gracious. I bless you even in seasons of waiting. But there are specific blessings tied to specific acts of obedience. Not because I withhold out of cruelty, but because growth requires participation. Let me tell you a simple story. There was once a man who prayed daily for a harvest. For abundance, for increase. Yet he kept his seed stored safely in a jar. He was afraid that if he planted it, something might go wrong. He wanted a guarantee of harvest before releasing what he held. But harvest does not precede planting. It follows it. My beloved child, the blessing is in the planting. The courage you seek grows when you act courageously. The clarity you desire sharpens when you step forward. The peace you long for settles when you obey. You cannot experience the full fruit of movement while remaining rooted in hesitation. You may think, what if I step and nothing changes? But what if you step and everything shifts? What if that single act opens a door you could not see? What if your willingness triggers a chain of events that aligns with the prayers you have been whispering for years? When I ask you to move, I am not testing you. I am positioning you. Blessing often requires positioning. You position yourself for healing by having the conversation. You position yourself for growth by starting the plan. You position yourself for provision by pursuing the opportunity. The step does not create the blessing. It aligns you with it. Think of a child learning to receive a gift. If the child refuses to open his hands, the gift remains unseen. The gift exists, is ready, but the hands must open. Open your hands through obedience. The step you take today may seem small in comparison to the blessing you hope for, but small steps create new locations, and location matters. When you shift even slightly, you enter a new space where different opportunities can meet you. I have already prepared what you need, but it waits in the direction I have been guiding you. Stop asking me to bless your stillness when I am calling you to movement. Stop waiting for proof before participation. The proof often comes after the step. You will not lose by obeying me. Even if the path adjusts, even if you learn along the way, you will gain wisdom, strength, and alignment. That in itself is blessing. My beloved child, the breakthrough you desire is not detached from your action. It is woven into it. Take the step. Send the message. Begin the process. Release the weight. Trust the prompting. And as you move, watch how doors begin to shift. Watch how peace settles in unexpected ways. Watch how provision meets you in places you once feared to enter. The blessing is not far from you. It is attached to the step. To step. My beloved child, I want you to notice something gently, but honestly. The delay you have been living in has not protected your peace the way you thought it would. In fact, it has slowly drained it. You believed that postponing the decision would reduce stress. You thought that avoiding the step would keep you calm. But instead of relief, you have felt a quiet tension following you from day to day. It lingers in your thoughts. It shows up when you try to rest. It whispers when you try to focus on something else. Attention is not random. It is the weight of unfinished obedience. When something remains unresolved, it occupies space in your spirit. Even if you push it aside, it does not disappear. It hums quietly in the background of your life. You may smile. You may function. You may continue with routines. But beneath it all, there is an awareness that something needs to move. Peace is not the absence of responsibility. Peace is alignment. You have been trying to find peace by delaying action. But true peace comes when your heart and your obedience are in harmony. When I prompt you and you respond, there is a settling in your soul. Even if the step feels challenging, there is a deep breath that follows it. A release. Think of carrying a heavy bag for a long distance. At first, the weight seems manageable. You adjust your grip. You tell yourself you can handle it a little longer. But as time passes, your arm aches. Your shoulders tighten. The weight becomes more noticeable. The relief does not come from standing still with the bag. The relief comes from setting it down. Delay has been that bag. Every day you postpone, you carry the same weight again. Every time you think about what you need to do but choose not to, your spirit tightens just a little more. You may not have called it exhaustion, but that is what it is. Emotional exhaustion from indecision. My beloved child, I do not want you to live under that strain. I am not asking you to act because I am impatient. I am inviting you to act because I desire your peace. The sooner you align your actions with my prompting, the sooner the tension will ease. You fear that acting will create more stress. But often, the anticipation of action is more stressful than the action itself. The imagined conversation is heavier than the actual words spoken. The thought of beginning is more overwhelming than the first small step. Once you move, you will feel the shift. Even if the outcome takes time to unfold, your heart will know you responded. That knowledge alone will calm you. It will quiet the restless thoughts. It will remove the nagging sense that something is unresolved. Peace follows obedience like sunlight follows dawn. I have not designed you to live in constant internal debate. I have designed you to walk in steady trust. When you resist what you know you must do, you create friction within yourself. That friction is what has been tiring you. You deserve more than surface-level calm. You deserve deep, rooted peace. And that peace is waiting on the other side of your decision. My beloved child, imagine waking tomorrow knowing that you took the step today. Imagine the relief of no longer carrying that mental weight. Imagine the clarity that comes when you are no longer circling the same choice. That relief is closer than you think. Set the bag down. Release the delay. Align your action with what I have been whispering to you. The peace you have been longing for is not hiding from you. It is waiting for your yes. My beloved child, you have been waiting to feel brave before you act. You have been hoping that one morning you will wake up and fear will be gone, doubt will be silent, and confidence will overflow naturally. But courage does not arrive as a feeling first. Courage begins as a decision. You do not become courageous because fear disappears. You become courageous because you choose to move despite it. Right now, you think courage is something you either have or do not have. You compare yourself to others who seem bold, decisive, unshaken. You tell yourself, that is just who they are. I am not built like that. But courage is not personality. It is posture. It is the posture of a heart that says, even if I tremble, I will step forward. Imagine someone standing at the edge of cold water. The anticipation feels worse than the plunge. They hesitate, dipping a toe, pulling back, analyzing the temperature. Their mind races. But the moment they decide and fully step in, the shock passes faster than the fear predicted. The waiting was heavier than the action. So it is with courage. The weight you feel right now is not the weight of action. It is the weight of indecision. Once you decide, even if the step feels uncomfortable, something inside you will stabilize. Your heart will align. Your breath will steady. Courage is not loud. It does not always announce itself with bold declarations. Sometimes it is quiet and firm. It is a whisper within that says, enough waiting. There was once a young warrior who believed that he was too small to fight the battle before him. He looked at the size of the challenge and measured it against his own strength. He always turned away. But in a single moment, he chose to stand. He chose to trust that what he carried inside was greater than what stood against him. a decision, more than his physical strength, defined the outcome. My beloved child, your battles may not look like wars. They may look like conversations, changes, beginnings, endings. But the principle is the same. The victory does not begin with size. It begins with decision. You have already survived so much. Think back to moments when you thought, I cannot handle this. Yet you handled it. Not because you felt ready, but because you had no choice except to move forward. And when you moved, you discovered strength you did not know you possessed. That strength has not left you. You are not fragile. You are not incapable. You are not too weak for what stands before you. You are simply standing at the point where decision must replace delay. Courage does not guarantee that everything will unfold perfectly. It guarantees that you will no longer be ruled by fear. It shifts authority from your anxiety back to your spirit. My beloved child, you do not need a dramatic sign. You need a firm choice. Say within yourself, I will not let fear make this decision for me. Say, I will move because I trust the one who walks with me. Let that decision settle deep in your chest. Once you decide, take the first action quickly. Do not allow doubt to regroup. Send the message. Schedule the meeting. Begin the plan. Speak the truth. Action seals courage. And as soon as you move, you will feel something rise within you. Not arrogance, not recklessness, but steady resolve. Courage is not something you are waiting to receive. It is something you are choosing right now. My beloved child, choose it. My beloved child, there is a habit you must break if you are to walk fully into what I am calling you toward. You have been consulting doubt as if it were a trusted advisor. When I place something on your heart, when I stir you to move, you feel a moment of clarity. It is clean. It is steady. It is simple. But almost immediately, you begin to invite other voices into the room. You rehearse worst-case scenarios. You imagine criticism. You anticipate rejection. You replay past disappointments. And slowly, doubt begins to speak louder than the original prompting. Doubt is persuasive. It sounds intelligent. It presents arguments that seem reasonable. It asks, are you sure? It whispers, what if you are wrong? It reminds you of every time something did not work out the way you hoped. And if you listen long enough, doubt will build a case strong enough to paralyze you. But hear me clearly. Doubt is not your compass. I do not forbid questions. I do not silence your thinking. But there is a difference between seeking wisdom and entertaining fear. When you consult doubt first, you give it authority it does not deserve. Imagine you are about to take a journey. I have already shown you the direction. I have given you peace about the road. But instead of moving, you begin asking strangers on the sidelines whether you should go. Some of them project their own fears onto you. Some of them speak from their own disappointments. Others simply do not understand your path. And before long, their uncertainty begins to cloud your clarity. My beloved child, not every voice deserves access to your decision. There will always be opinions. There will always be people who cannot see what I have shown you. If you wait for universal agreement before acting, you will never move. Sometimes obedience requires quiet confidence rather than public approval. Even within yourself, you must choose which voice to amplify. When doubt begins to speak, pause. Ask yourself, is this voice rooted in truth or is it rooted in fear? Doubt often exaggerates risk and minimizes possibility. It highlights what can go wrong but rarely acknowledges what can go right. You have been rehearsing the negative outcomes so often that they feel real. But they are not facts. They are projections. When you consult doubt, you shrink your vision. You focus only on what might fail. You forget my faithfulness. You forget the times I have guided you successfully before. You forget the strength you discovered in previous challenges. There is wisdom in counsel, but not all counsel is equal. Seek voices that align with my truth, not voices that feed your insecurity. Seek confirmation in prayer, not in panic. Let me remind you of something important. The initial peace you felt when I first stirred you was not imaginary. That clarity was real. It was simple, and did not need endless debate. You lose momentum when you overconsult doubt. The more you question, the more tangled your thoughts become. The clearer path becomes foggy, and fog often feels like a sign to stop, when in reality it is just a sign to trust. My beloved child, stop holding meetings with doubt. When fear tries to present its arguments, acknowledge them, but do not let them lead. Bring them to me instead. Say, Father, this is what I am worried about, and allow me to respond with truth. The truth is steady. It does not shout. It reassures. You do not need to eliminate every doubt before you act. You simply need to refuse to let doubt make the final decision. Choose to listen to the voice that called you forward, not the one that tries to pull you back. Choose to move in alignment with peace, not paralysis. My beloved child, close the door to doubt and step into trust. My beloved child, lift your eyes for a moment from where you are standing. I want you to see something beyond your present hesitation. Your future is not silent. It is calling you. Right now, you are focused on the discomfort of the step in front of you. You are thinking about the effort it will require, the risk it might carry, the uncertainty it presents. But your future is standing on the other side of that step, waiting with open arms. Imagine meeting the version of yourself 5 years from now. See the strength in their posture, the clarity in their eyes, the peace in their spirit. That future version of you did not arrive there by accident. They arrived because at some point, you chose to move. Your future self is grateful for the decisions you have not yet made. There are blessings you have not yet experienced, growth you have not yet seen, doors that have not yet opened, but they are connected to the obedience you are hesitating to give. You often look at your present fear and assume it defines you, but your future sees it as a doorway you walk through. What feels overwhelming today will one day feel like a testimony of courage. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young woman who dreamed of changing her life. She felt called to pursue something greater, but she was comfortable where she was. The thought of leaving familiarity terrified her. For months she delayed. She convinced herself it was not the right time. But one day, she decided she did not want to look back years later and wonder what might have been. She chose to act, even with trembling hands. The path was not always easy, but it stretched her. It strengthened her. Years later, she looked back and realized that the hardest step was the first one. Everything that followed flowed from that decision. Had she remained still, her life would have remained smaller than it was meant to be. My beloved child, your life is meant to expand. Expansion does not always mean visibility or applause. It means growth. It means depth. It means alignment with purpose. And your future holds more alignment than your present hesitation allows. Every time you delay, you postpone meeting the stronger version of yourself. You keep your future waiting. You fear that stepping forward might lead to disappointment, but staying still guarantees stagnation. Movement at least opens possibility. I want you to feel the pull of what lies ahead, not in a way that pressures you, but in a way that inspires you. There is joy waiting for you. There is relief waiting for you. There is confidence waiting for you. But it cannot travel backward to where you are. You must move toward it. Your future is not built in a single dramatic leap. It is built in daily decisions. The conversation you have, the plan you begin, the boundary you set, the courage you show. These small acts compound over time. If you could see what I see, you would not hesitate so long. I see the ripple effect of your obedience. I see how one step opens another. I see how your growth influences others. I see how your peace deepens. Your future is not uncertain chaos. It is a landscape I am already standing in, calling you forward. My beloved child, do not let comfort anchor you to a smaller story. Do not let fear keep you from meeting who you are becoming. Take the step today, not only for your present relief, but for your future joy. Your future is calling. Answer it. My beloved child, one of the deepest fears hidden beneath your hesitation is the fear of falling. You are not only afraid of making the wrong decision, you are afraid of failing publicly. You are afraid of regret. You are afraid that if you step forward and stumble, there will be no one to catch you. Listen to me closely. I am your safety net. You have imagined that obedience means walking a tightrope without protection. You picture yourself balancing carefully, afraid that one misstep will send everything crashing down. But I am not calling you to walk without support. I am calling you to walk knowing that even if you stumble, I will not let you be destroyed. Failure is not final when you are held by me. You have been taught, in many ways, to fear mistakes. You have learned to equate error with shame. You have seen how the world can be quick to judge and slow to understand. So you think it is safer not to try at all than to risk falling short. But not trying is its own quiet loss. Imagine a child learning to climb. He reaches upward uncertain of his grip. His foot slips. He spreads his knee. But his father stands below, arms ready, watching closely. The father does not scold him for attempting. He encourages him. He steadies him. He reminds him that falling is part of growing stronger. My beloved child, I am not waiting to criticize your efforts. I am ready to steady you. Even if the step you take does not unfold exactly as you envision, it will not be wasted. I am able to redirect you. I am able to redeem mistakes. I am able to transform detours into lessons that strengthen your path. You think success must look flawless, but I often build resilience through imperfect journeys. The times you adjusted, the times you learned, the times you corrected your course, those moments shape you more than effortless victories ever could. There is no scenario in which you obey me and I abandon you. You fear that if things go wrong, you will be left alone to deal with the consequences. But I walk with you not only in triumph, but in correction. If a door closes, I am there. If you misjudge something, I am there. If you feel embarrassed, I am there. My love for you is not dependent on your performance. I am not a distant observer grading your choices. I am an active father guiding your growth. The safety net does not remove all risk. It removes destruction. It ensures that even if you fall, you will rise again. Think back to moments in your life when you believed something would ruin you. Yet here you are. You survived. You learned. You continue. That was not your strength alone. That was my hand beneath you. You are safer than you think. Your life is not hanging by a fragile thread. It is held in my steady grasp. I see the full picture. I see the long road ahead. I see the turns you cannot anticipate, and I am committed to walking them with you. So do not let fear of falling keep you from climbing. Do not let the possibility of imperfection keep you from obedience. If you step and falter, I will lift you. If you act and adjust, I will guide you. If you move and need correction, I will provide it gently. My beloved child, you are not walking without a net beneath you. You are not risking everything by trusting me. You are stepping into a future held securely in my hands. So take the step. I'm right here, ready to catch you if you slip, ready to strengthen you as you rise. My beloved child, what I am calling you into is not merely action for the sake of movement. It is alignment. There is a difference between being busy and being aligned. You can fill your days with activity and still feel unsettled. But when your actions align with my will, even simple steps carry deep peace. Alignment is when your heart, your mind, and your obedience move in the same direction. Right now, there is a subtle misalignment within you. You know what you should do, yet you delay. You feel the nudge, yet you resist. That resistance creates friction, and friction is exhausting. You may have tried to ignore that tension. You may have told yourself it will fade. But misalignment does not disappear through distraction. It quiets only when you adjust. Imagine a wheel slightly out of alignment on a vehicle. At first, the driver may not notice much. The car still moves forward. But over time, the steering pulls to one side. The tires wear unevenly. The ride becomes less smooth. It requires more effort to maintain direction. That is what delay does to your spirit. You are still moving through life. You are still functioning. But something feels slightly off. You must constantly correct yourself. You must silence the inner reminder. You must exert extra energy to avoid what you know is true. My beloved child, obedience brings realignment. When you act according to what I have placed on your heart, something settles. The internal resistance dissolves. Your spirit breathes easier. You no longer feel divided within yourself. This is not about pleasing me through performance. It is about living in harmony with the design I placed inside you. You were created with purpose woven into your being. When you ignore that purpose, even in small ways, you feel restless. But when you move toward it, even imperfectly, you feel whole. Alignment does not mean everything becomes easy. It means everything becomes clear. There is a difference. You may still face challenges. You may still need to work hard. But the struggle will feel meaningful rather than draining. Effort within alignment strengthens you. Effort within misalignment depletes you. Right now, you are spending energy resisting what you know. Imagine how much lighter you will feel when that energy is redirected toward action instead. Alignment also creates flow. When your heart and obedience agree, you begin to notice synchronicity. Conversations connect. Opportunities appear. Ideas develop. This is not magic. It is the natural outcome of moving with me rather than against your own calling. My beloved child, I am not forcing you into alignment. I am inviting you. I want you to experience the quiet satisfaction of knowing you are where you should be, doing what you should be doing. That satisfaction does not come from applause or recognition. It comes from obedience. You have felt it before. Think of a time when you acted even though it was difficult, and afterward, there was a deep peace within you. Not excitement, not relief alone, but peace. It was alignment. You deserve to live from that place more often. Stop fighting the direction I am pointing you toward. Stop negotiating with what you already know. Stop allowing fear to pull you slightly off course. Adjust. Turn your heart fully toward the step. Let your mind agree. Let your actions follow. The moment you do, the friction will lessen. The noise will quiet. The peace you have been chasing will begin to settle naturally. My beloved child, this is about more than a single decision. It is about coming back into alignment with who you were created to be. And when you align with my will, you will discover that peace is not something you have to search for. It is something you walk in. My beloved child, there is a pattern that has quietly followed you for some time. It begins with inspiration. You feel stirred. You feel clarity. You sense my prompting. Then comes hesitation. You analyze. You delay. The urgency fades. And eventually, you return to comfort, telling yourself you will act another day. The cycle has repeated more than once. It has not destroyed you, but it has limited you. Each time it repeats, it reinforces the belief that you will always hesitate. It builds a subtle identity. This is just how I am. But I did not create you to be defined by cycles of delay. Cycles can be broken. Right now is not just another moment of inspiration. It is an opportunity to end a pattern. The difference between a cycle and a breakthrough is decision. When you decide that this time will not end the same way as before, something shifts in the spirit. Think of someone walking in circles inside a room. From the inside, it may not feel obvious. The scenery looks familiar, but the person convinces themselves they are making progress. Yet they keep returning to the same corner, the same view, the same frustration. My beloved child, I do not want you circling the same mountain. You have prayed about this before. You have promised yourself action before. You have felt conviction before. But today, you have more awareness than you did then. You recognize the pattern now. And recognition is the first step toward freedom. Breaking a cycle does not require dramatic change all at once. It requires a different response at a familiar moment. When hesitation begins to whisper, you answer differently. When doubt suggests waiting, you choose movement. When fear tries to repeat its script, you refuse to follow it. That is how patterns break. You may feel the pull of old habits even now. They are comfortable. They are predictable. But comfort can be a cage when it keeps you from growth. Familiarity does not equal alignment. You are stronger than your patterns. Patterns are built by repetition. But so is freedom. The moment you act differently, you begin building a new pattern. One of obedience. One of courage. One of forward motion. Imagine a chain made of many small links. Each delay has added another link. Over time, the chain has felt heavy, but chains are broken link by link. You do not have to shatter the entire chain at once. You only have to break the next link. Today is that link. This time, when you feel the nudge, do not push it aside. This time, when clarity comes, do not overcomplicate it. This time, when you sense that it is time to move, act before fear can regroup. You are not bound to repeat yesterday. Your past patterns do not have authority over your present choice. You may have delayed before, but you do not have to delay again. My beloved child, imagine looking back on this day and saying, that was the moment everything shifted. Not because circumstances instantly changed, but because you did. Because you chose differently. Because you broke the cycle. You have been waiting for the perfect time to transform your life. Transformation does not always come with fireworks. Sometimes it begins with a quiet but firm decision. No more. And we're postponing what you do. And we're negotiating with fear. No more circling the same hesitation. Break the cycle today. Let this be the day you respond instead of retreat. Let this be the day you act instead of analyze endlessly. Let this be the day you prove to yourself that you are not trapped in repetition. I am with you in this decision. I am strengthening you for this break. And once the cycle is broken, you will feel momentum like you have not felt before. My beloved child, today is not just another day. It is the turning point. Choose it. My beloved child, I want you to see something clearly now. Delay is not always harmless, and does not always appear dramatic or destructive. But over time, it quietly stands between you and your destiny. Your destiny is not a distant fantasy. It is the unfolding of who you were created to become. It is the life shaped by obedience, courage, growth, and alignment with my will. And while no force can steal what I have purposed for you, delay can postpone your experience of it. Delay is subtle. It tells you that you have endless time. It convinces you that acting tomorrow is just as powerful as acting today. But moments carry unique grace. When grace meets opportunity, there is power. When opportunity is ignored repeatedly, momentum weakens. I do not speak this to create fear. I speak it to awaken urgency. There is an assignment attached to your life. There are people you will influence, spaces you will enter, growth you will embody. But every time you choose hesitation over obedience, you slow the unfolding of that assignment. Imagine a traveler who is meant to reach a beautiful city. The path is laid out before him. The directions are clear. But at every crossroads, he chooses to rest longer than necessary. He delays departure. He lingers in comfort. The city does not disappear. It remains. But he prolongs his arrival. My beloved child, destiny remains. But delay stretches the journey unnecessarily. You were not created to live in constant postponement. There is purpose woven into your days. When you act in alignment with that purpose, you move closer to the fullness of who you are meant to be. When you delay repeatedly, you stay in smaller versions of yourself longer than necessary. There are relationships that grow when you step forward. There are skills that develop when you begin. There is confidence that forms when you act. But these things cannot mature in a state of constant hesitation. Delay often feels safe because it avoids immediate discomfort. But over time, it creates a deeper discomfort, the quiet ache of unrealized potential. You feel it sometimes, don't you? That sense that there is more within you. That awareness that you are capable of greater alignment, deeper peace, wider impact. That feeling is not pride. It is purpose calling. And delay is the only thing keeping you from answering fully. You may think destiny requires a perfect, flawless path. It does not. It requires movement. Even imperfect steps, when taken in obedience, carry you forward. But standing still, even in comfort, keeps you anchored in limitation. My beloved child, I have placed gifts inside you. Insight, compassion, strength, creativity, resilience. These gifts are not meant to remain dormant. They are meant to be activated through action. Delay dims their expression. I want you to imagine what your life looks like if you respond now. Not next year. Not next month. Down. Imagine the doors that open sooner. The growth that accelerates. The peace that settles deeper because you are no longer divided between knowing and doing. Your destiny is not threatened by external forces as much as it is slowed by internal hesitation. But you have authority over that hesitation. You can choose to move. You can choose to trust. You can choose to step even if your voice trembles. And when you do, you shorten the distance between who you are and who you are becoming. My beloved child, do not allow delay to become the quiet enemy of your destiny. You were not created to live beneath your potential. You were created to walk boldly in it. The path is before you. The grace is available. The time is now. Move toward your destiny and watch how I strengthen every step. My beloved child, beneath all the noise, beneath all the analysis, beneath every layer of hesitation, there is a quiet knowing inside you. You already know what to do. You have asked me for clarity again and again. You have prayed for direction. You have searched for confirmation. But the truth is, the answer has been resting in your spirit for some time. It may not be detailed. It may not explain every outcome. But it is clear enough for the next step. A confusion you feel does not come from lack of guidance. It comes from conflicting voices. It comes from fear arguing against faith. It comes from comfort resisting change. But when you silence those competing voices for just a moment, you can hear it, the steady whisper within. That whisper is not frantic. It does not pressure you. It simply nudges you. You have tried to convince yourself that you are unsure. You have said, I don't know what to do. But if you are honest, you do know. You just wish the step felt easier. You wish it came without discomfort. You wish it required less courage. Clarity does not always feel convenient. Imagine standing at a crossroads with two visible paths. One is wide and familiar. It requires no change. The other is narrower and less traveled, but something inside you pulls toward it. You may stand there pretending to be confused, but deep down, you sense which direction aligns with growth. My beloved child, you recognize the narrow path because it stretches you. The wider path may feel safer, but it does not stir your spirit. It does not challenge you to rise. The narrow path feels uncomfortable because it leads to transformation. You have been waiting for me to write the answer across the sky, but I have already written it in your heart. When you think about the decision, notice where peace settles. Notice where your spirit feels aligned, even if your mind feels nervous. That alignment is your answer. Sometimes you confuse clarity with ease, but clarity can coexist with fear. You can know what to do and still feel afraid to do it. That does not mean you are uncertain. It means you are human. There was once a man who carried a map in his pocket. He kept unfolding it, studying it, analyzing every line. He told himself he was unsure of the direction, but in truth, the route was marked clearly. He hesitated not because he lacked direction, but because he feared the terrain ahead. My beloved child, you are holding the map. You know the conversation that needs to happen. You know the habit that needs to change. You know the opportunity that deserves a response. You know the step that will bring alignment. Stop pretending you are lost. You are not lost. You are standing at the edge of obedience. The longer you debate, the heavier it feels. The more you question, the more tangled your thoughts become. But when you return to the simple knowing inside you, the path feels straightforward again. You do not need another sign. You do not need unanimous approval. You do not need to rehearse every outcome. You need to trust the clarity already given. My beloved child, the next step is not hidden from you. It hath been waiting for your yes. Take a breath. Quiet the noise. Listen within. You already know what to do. Now do it. My beloved child, you often underestimate the power of a single step. You look at today and see it as small, ordinary, almost insignificant. But I see how one decision made in this moment can echo into your tomorrow in ways you cannot yet imagine. You think change must be dramatic to matter. You believe transformation must arrive in sweeping waves. But most lasting change begins quietly, with one choice that shifts direction. One step today alters the path of tomorrow. Imagine a traveler adjusting his course by only a few degrees. At first, the shift seems minor, barely noticeable. But miles down the road, that slight change leads him to an entirely different destination. The earlier the adjustment, the greater the difference in arrival. Your obedience today is that adjustment. The call you make, the plan you begin, the boundary you set, the habit you release. These are not small in my sight. They are seeds. And seeds, though tiny in your hand, carry entire forests within them. When you plant a seed, you do not see the tree immediately. You do not see the branches stretching toward the sky. You do not see the shade it will one day provide. But the planting sets everything in motion. My beloved child, today is planting day. You have been staring at the seed long enough. You have been evaluating it, protecting it, questioning it. But seeds are not meant to remain in your pocket. They are meant to enter the soil. And once planted, something begins happening beneath the surface. Roots form where no one can see. Stability develops before visibility appears. In the same way, when you take one step today, the roots of your future begin forming immediately. You may not feel the full impact tomorrow morning, but over time, you will look back and recognize that this was the turning point. Right now, your tomorrow is shaped by your present choice. If you delay again, tomorrow will resemble yesterday. But if you act, tomorrow begins to shift. There is power in immediacy. You often think you need to overhaul your entire life to see meaningful change. But what if all I am asking is one faithful action? What if that single act opens a door that leads to another, and another, and another? Omitted with Bor from Move It. When you take one step, confidence increases. When confidence increases, the next step feels lighter. When you continue, a new pattern forms. And before long, you are living in a reality that once felt distant. My beloved child, imagine your future self thanking you for acting today. Imagine the relief you will feel knowing you did not let fear dictate your direction. Imagine the peace that settles when you know you aligned your actions with my prompting. You are closer to change than you think. Do not wait for the perfect moment. This moment is sufficient. Do not wait for perfect strength. The strength you need is available now. Do not wait for certainty about the entire journey. Focus on the next step only. That one step carries more weight than you realize. Your tomorrow is watching your today. Plant the seed. Make the shift. Take the action. And trust that what begins quietly now will grow into something beautiful, stable, and strong. One step today changes tomorrow. My beloved child, there is something sacred about the moment you decide. Not just when you think about change. Not just when you feel inspired. But when you truly decide. Decision is powerful because it shifts you from contemplation into commitment. And when you align your decision with my prompting, I breathe on it. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but there is a spiritual activation that happens when your will agrees with mine. It is like wind filling the sails of a boat. The boat may be built, the water may be ready, but until the sail is raised, there is no forward movement. Your decision raises the sail. My breath provides the wind. You have been waiting for strength before committing, but strength often follows commitment. Imagine a musician standing before an instrument. The instrument is ready. The sheet music is placed. The audience waits quietly, but no sound fills the room until the musician chooses to play. The moment the first note is struck, the music begins to flow. My beloved child, your life is waiting on that first note. You may feel that your decision is small. You may think it is just one quiet yes within your heart. But that yes echoes in the spirit. It signals readiness. It signals trust. It signals surrender. And I respond to that. When you decide to forgive, I breathe peace into your heart. When you decide to pursue the opportunity, I breathe clarity into your steps. When you decide to end what no longer aligns, I breathe freedom into your spirit. When you decide to begin something new, I breathe courage into your mind. You are not deciding alone. The moment you commit, heaven leans in with support. Provision begins to align. Insight begins to surface. Resources begin to reveal themselves. Not always instantly, not always dramatically, but steadily. You have felt stagnant because you have been hovering between options. Half in, half out. Considering, weighing, circling. But stagnation dissolves the moment you choose. Even if your hands tremble, decision steadies your path. There is something about wholehearted commitment that silences inner chaos. When you decide, your mind stops debating. Your heart stops bargaining. Your energy becomes focused. You have more power than you realize. Your decision is not insignificant. It is not fragile. It is not easily dismissed. When rooted in obedience, it carries authority. I am breathing on your decision even now. You may feel a subtle shift inside, a strengthening, a clarity. That is my spirit affirming your choice. You not overcomplicate this moment. You do not need to have every detail mapped out. You do not need to solve every possible obstacle. You only need to commit to the next right step. When you do, I will empower it. My beloved child, stop waiting for motivation to sustain you. Commitment will sustain you. Stop waiting for emotions to align perfectly. Decision will anchor you. Raise the sail. Say yes to what you know. Say yes to the conversation. Say yes to the plan. Say yes to the release. Say yes to the beginning. And as you do, feel my breath filling your efforts. Feel my grace strengthening your resolve. Feel my presence moving with you. You are not moving in your own strength alone. I am breathing on your decision. So decide, and watch what begins to move. My beloved child, there is a word that has quietly held you captive for too long. That word is someday. Someday I will start. Someday I will change. Someday I will have the conversation. Someday I will pursue the dream. Someday I will step out in faith. Someday feels safe because it carries no immediate demand. It allows you to feel hopeful without requiring action. It lets you believe change is possible while postponing commitment. But someday is often just delay dressed in softer language. Someday rarely arrives on its own. You have given someday too much authority over your life. You have handed it dreams, goals, obedience, growth. And someday has quietly placed them on a shelf labeled later, where they gather dust. I do not want your life to be built on later. Later is uncertain. Later is not guaranteed. Later can easily become never if it is not anchored to a specific decision. Imagine a man who constantly tells himself he will plant a garden someday. He talks about the vegetables he will grow. He imagines the harvest. He even buys the tools. But each season passes with the same excuse. Next year will be better. And years go by with no seeds in the soil. My beloved child, someday does not plant gardens. Today does. There is something powerful about claiming this present moment. You may not control tomorrow, but you hold the ability to act now. This breath, this hour, this opportunity. You fear that acting today might disrupt your comfort. But what you call comfort may actually be stagnation. You have grown accustomed to the familiar, even when the familiar feels unfulfilling. Someday allows you to stay comfortable without confronting the cost of waiting. But I am calling you out of someday. Your calling is not reserved for a distant future version of yourself who feels braver, wiser, more prepared. It is for you now, in your current state, with your current understanding, with your current resources. You have been believing that growth belongs to a future version of you. But growth happens when the present version chooses differently. Let go of the illusion that you will wake up one day suddenly ready. Readiness is built through action. Confidence grows through experience. Peace deepens through obedience. Someday keeps you dreaming. Today moves you forward. I want you to feel the urgency without panic. The urgency of opportunity. The urgency of alignment. The urgency of stepping into who you are becoming. Every time you choose today over someday, you reclaim power. You declare that your life will not be postponed indefinitely. You decide that your obedience will not be filed away under good intentions. My beloved child, your future is shaped by what you do with today. Stop negotiating with someday. Stop telling yourself you will begin when conditions improve or feelings shift. Begin with what is in front of you. Send the message today. Make the plan today. Start the habit today. Have the conversation today. Even if it is small, let it be real. You do not need to accomplish everything at once. You simply need to refuse to delay again. Someday has held your dreams long enough. Release it. Embrace this moment. Embrace this decision. Embrace this breath as the turning point. My beloved child, let go of someday. Choose today. My beloved child, I speak to you now with both tenderness and urgency. There are moments in your life that carry a special grace. They are not frantic. They are not chaotic. But they are time-sensitive. This is one of those moments. Time-sensitive does not mean fragile in a fearful way. It means aligned in a specific window. It means that circumstances, preparation, opportunity, and inner stirring have converged at the same point. When these elements meet, there is power. You have felt this convergence. You have noticed how often this decision returns to your mind. You have seen how certain conversations, opportunities, where confirmations keep appearing. This repetition is not random. It is alignment pressing gently against your hesitation. Breakthrough is not only about what happens to you. It is about when you respond. Imagine a wave building in the ocean. It gathers strength quietly at first. Then it rises, forming at the perfect height. A surfer who recognizes the moment moves quickly, positioning themselves to ride it. But if they hesitate too long, the wave passes. The ocean remains. Waves will come again. But that particular wave, with that particular strength, in that particular moment, is gone. My beloved child, there is a wave before you. The preparation you have walked through has positioned you here. The lessons you have learned have equipped you. The inner stirring has alerted you. All of it has been building toward this window. If you respond now, momentum will meet you. If you delay, you may still move later, but it will require rebuilding energy that is already available in this moment. This is not pressure. This is invitation. You are stronger right now than you were months ago. You are clear right now than you were before. You are more aware of what needs to change. That awareness is not meant to linger indefinitely. It is meant to be acted upon. Breakthrough often feels like a door slightly open. Not wide, not closed, but waiting. The longer you stand analyzing it, the more your courage cools. The more you step toward it, the more confidence grows. You have prayed for breakthrough. You have asked for movement. And now the moment stands before you, asking for your participation. There are people connected to your obedience. There are spaces waiting for your growth. There is peace waiting for your alignment. But they are tied to this response. You may wonder, what if I am wrong? But what if you are right? What if this is the exact window where grace and opportunity intersect? My beloved child, do not let fear disguise itself as caution. Do not let comfort convince you that waiting is wiser. If I were telling you to stop, your spirit would feel settled in that stillness. But instead, you feel the nudge intensifying. That intensity is not anxiety. It is timing. You do not have to act recklessly, but you must act. Step through the door while it is open. Ride the wave while it rises. Plant the seed while the soil is ready. Time moves forward whether you respond or not. But responding now aligns you with the momentum already present. My beloved child, your breakthrough is not a distant event. It is a decision in this moment. Do not let this window close because of hesitation. Move with the timing I have set before you. This is your moment. My beloved child, you have heard my voice through every part of this message. You have felt the stirring, the confirmation, the urgency, the reassurance. Now it comes to this simple invitation. Move and watch what I do. There comes a point when reflection must become action, when prayer must be followed by participation, when faith must express itself through movement. You have gathered enough clarity. You have wrestled with enough thoughts. You have waited long enough. Now move. You may think that everything depends on you doing it perfectly. But obedience is not about perfection. It is about trust. When you take the step, you are not declaring that you have all the answers. You are declaring that you trust the one who does. And when you move, I move. I respond to faith in motion. I strengthen hands that begin to work. I guide feet that begin to walk. I open doors that are approached. I calm hearts that choose obedience over fear. You have seen it before in your life. Think back to a moment when you finally acted after a long delay. Remember how events began to align. Remember how clarity followed movement. Remember how strength rose within you once you committed. That was not coincidence. That was partnership. I do not ask you to leap into darkness alone. I ask you to step into a path where I am already present. The moment your foot touches the ground in obedience, my grace meets it. Imagine a child hesitant to jump into a pool while their father stands in the water with open arms. The child hesitates at the edge, imagining the splash, the shock of cold, the uncertainty. But the father smiles and says, "Jump. I am here." The safety was always present. The only missing piece was the child's movement. My beloved child, I am in the water. You have been standing at the edge long enough. The conversation you must have. The decision you must make. The change you must initiate. It is time. Move and watch how I steady you. Move and watch how fear loses its grip. Move and watch how doors begin to open in ways you could not orchestrate yourself. Move and watch how peace settles deeper than before. There are blessings waiting for your participation. There is growth waiting for your yes. There is freedom waiting on the other side of your obedience. You may not see the full outcome immediately. Some things will unfold gradually, but even small signs will confirm that you are on the right path. Trust the process. Trust the partnership. Trust that I am far more invested in your growth than you are. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new chapter shaped by courage instead of delay. When you look back, you will not remember every anxious thought. You will remember the moment you decided to move. And when you move, you will not be alone for even a second. My beloved child, take the step now. Move and watch what I do. My beloved child, you have come with me through every word, every stirring, every reminder. You have felt the weight of delay, the pull of destiny, the urgency of this moment. And now we stand at the final invitation. This is not just another message you listen to. This is a crossroads. You have heard my voice call you out of hesitation. You have been reminded that fear is not your master, that procrastination is not your identity, that your future is waiting, that your breakthrough is time-sensitive. You have been shown that one step today changes tomorrow. You have been assured that I go before you, that I am your safety net, that I breathe on your decision. Now it is time to act. Do not let this become another moment of inspiration that fades into routine. Do not let these words settle without response. The power of this message lies not in hearing it, but in doing it. My beloved child, choose differently today. Break the cycle. Release someday. Step through the open door. Send the message. Make the call. Begin the plan. And what must end, decide what must decide. Align your action with what you already know. You are not waiting on me. I have already spoken. I am waiting on your yes. And as you act, I will meet you. I will steady you. I will strengthen you. I will guide you. Peace will replace tension. Clarity will replace confusion. Momentum will replace stagnation. This is your moment. Do not delay. And as this message has stirred your heart, know that it is not meant to stop with you. There are countless other hearts standing at their own crossroads, praying for confirmation just like you were. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are sowing into souls, not simply giving to a channel. I declare over you that as my word lives and breathes, the one who waters others will himself be watered, and that promise rests over your obedience. When you feel the desire to give, that is my spirit inviting you to partner in spreading light where hesitation has held others captive. Do not ignore that sacred nudge. Act on it boldly and watch how I multiply what you release. Every seed you sow becomes oil in another lamp, fire in another weary heart, courage in another waiting soul. I bless your generosity, your household, and the work of your hands. Step into this moment of obedience and give as I lead you. My beloved child, the time is now. Act right now. Walk forward in courage. I am with you. Amen.